Okay, it is time to buckle up. Make sure your harness is secured in place because we're going on an adventure together. I want you to meet an amazing friend of mine today on Spirit 1053. His name is Ryan George, and he has written a really cool book, a book you will love. You've heard of the phrase scared to death. Well, Ryan wrote Scared to Life, Tales of a Good God Who Reveals His Heart When Ours is Racing. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's so good to talk to you, Erica. Thank you.
Same. How did you get scared to life?
Well, through a series of events, obviously you've read the book. There's a lot of death-defying things that I've done in my life. And what I found was at the end of them, I felt more alive, including one that I did up in your neck of the woods on the Olympic Peninsula. And when I got back on the ground, they're like, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I've never felt more alive." And I realized that was the scariest I'd ever been in my life. I actually finally got life insurance because of that stunt.
Wow.
And it made me feel more alive, not less.
Okay, for somebody who hasn't read the book yet, describe that stunt that you did.
So I took a class in what's called wing walking. So you go out on the wings of biplanes while they're doing aerobatic maneuvers. No parachute. You wear a tether. You're attached to the plane. You do 6 aerobatic maneuvers on the top wing. Then you get back in the fuselage. They go up a little bit and get some more altitude. And then you go out on the bottom wing and they start doing tumbles and flips and stalls while you're out on the wing. So yeah, when I got back on the ground, my legs were shaking, but my heart was racing in a good way.
I mean, what did you do as a little boy? Was your mom like, Ryan, please don't do that? Were you like that, or did you become an adventurer later in life?
No, it was later in life. I started going to a church here when I moved to Virginia where the pastors were adrenaline junkies, ice climbers, skydivers, experimental aircraft pilots, those kind of things. And I kept getting invited on adventures, and each one was a little bit further outside of my comfort zone. So eventually, yeah, I'm out on the outside of a wing while it's stalling at 3,000 feet off the ground.
Super cool. You are a paraglider. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. What is it like? Because I will never do that. Honestly, I can't see myself ever
Oh,
doing it.
no.
I know I'm such a chicken. You're talking to a complete chicken. So, what does it feel like to paraglide?
Oh, see that. So paragliding for me is not an adrenaline rush. Paragliding for me is a peaceful thing. You fly at about 4 miles an hour. It's, about as fast as a brisk walk. But you you run off a mountain and you catch a thermal updraft, and then you just kind of float around in the sky until you get bored enough to put it down on the ground. I've done it now in 9 countries. I've done short ones in Iceland and long ones in Canada, all over the planet. I think 4 or 5 continents now. But yeah, it's super peaceful. You get to be with the birds. In fact, one of the things they teach you is to look for the birds. If you ever look in the sky and see a bird not flapping its wings, it's because it's in a column of air that keeps it suspended.
Wow.
And so we steer to where the birds are doing that so that we can sit in that air that's going up. But yeah, it's super tranquil for me. It's not, for me, one of the things I do to scare myself.
How cool are you? You've also experienced some of the most incredible sunrises on the planet. Would you describe maybe your favorite for us?
Oh man, that's like picking a favorite kid. This is why I only have one kid, so that's easy to pick. But I would say maybe the first sunrise after we got back from Antarctica. You're on the ship. We sailed through a hurricane to get down to Antarctica, and coming back
Wow.
and having a full day. But some of the islands, maybe some of my favorite, the islands in the Arctic Circle where I go up to surf and snorkel and stuff. The sun up there is so rare for them in the wintertime that when they see the sun come up, it's a really big. I remember one time I was in Finland, and my guide on the snowmobile, she just had this emotional moment, which is not normal for Nordic people.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What's going on with you right now?" She's like, "This is the first time I've seen the sun since December." And it was just it made me grateful because I see the sun every day,
Yeah.
weather permitting. And so I took it for granted. I came home much more thankful for the sun than I'd ever been.
Wow, Ryan, that's amazing. All right, I'm going to ask you a question that I didn't plan on asking you. I actually have a daughter who's an adventurer. Hannah is 26 years old, living on her own now, and she will say things to me like, Mom, I want to go to Antarctica. And I'll be like, are you crazy? Go to the beach. Go sit on the And I know that that's wrong, even saying it out loud. But how do you encourage a mom like me who gave birth to an adventurer like you?
Actually, what I'd rather do is reframe how you think about scary things. So we are all courageous in different ways. So like my wife wouldn't do the things I do, but she's relationally more courageous than me. My brother gets scared doing some of the even entry level stuff that I do, but he's more courageous about what he eats. So what I would say, and my uncle is way more entrepreneurially courageous than I am, right?
Wow.
So what I try to do is call out the courage in you, Mom, to say, what is the thing you've done that you were scared to do?
Wow.
I tell people all the time, the scariest thing I ever did in my life was adopting a teenager, right? Like, so people think, oh, going on the wings of an airplane, whatever. So the thing that scares me most is having a hard conversation with somebody. It's easy for me to go on the wings of a plane. So what I would do is call out where you have shown courage in your life, celebrate that, and then that helps you celebrate your daughter's courage.
Wow, that really encouraged me just now. I'm going to do that for sure. That's a perfect segue because I wanted to ask you what the greatest adventure in your life has been that has nothing to do with the great outdoors. And I have a feeling you're going to tell me about your daughter. Am I wrong?
Yeah, so I was on a stand-up paddleboarding expedition up in Canada. We came in on helicopters. We're off the grid. We're up on this glacier in the Rockies. We come back to civilization. I got a text from my wife saying a young lady has sought refuge in our home. And fast forward 3 years later, she became our daughter. I had medically taken kids off the table. I didn't want to be a dad. And so it was a complete adventure to go from 0 to literally 60 in one day coming off the glacier. So, yeah, it's been an utter adventure. The last line of my most recent book, it says to Diani Zageisha, you're the greatest adventure of my life.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that. I love that the Lord has put us on the same page, Ryan.
Awesome.
And now
Awesome.
she's graduating high school?
College.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and she's getting her master's, and she's starting her career already here in a month or two. So, yeah, it's wild for me.
Does she know what she wants to be now that she's all grown up?
She's going to be a social worker. I'm so proud of her.
What an adventure that's going to be.
Oh, already is. Yeah, her internship has been wild.
Aw, well, I'm so excited for her. Okay, so you wrote something in your book. I want to get back to the comfort zone here. This is a place, unfortunately, I operate out of all the time. But you say comfort is rarely the soil in which we grow the most. So, Ryan, how does God grow us outside our comfort zone?
Yeah, I think I was just talking to my counselor today about this, is that the places where I've grown is the places where I've been forced to be curious, where you have to catch your bearings and figure out how things have changed. My theology has changed. The way I do relationships has changed. The way I relate to God has utterly changed because of what I grew up in. And so I have to go to a place of discomfort to where the only option is to ask Jesus, right? Like my most fervent prayers are right before I'm about to do something that's going to give me a lot of adrenaline, or when I have a really big bill to pay, or I have a really hard conversation to have. When I'm desperate, I'm more likely to be receptive to what God has for me. And so what I've learned is if I haven't been uncomfortable in my faith or in my relationships or in my vacations in a while, all of those categories, it's like a blinking light on my dash. I need to do something about it and go do something that scares me.
Wow, I'm actually getting ready to go to Kenya with our sister ministry, World Concern, and I'm super excited.
Oh, wow.
I know, but I've never slept under a mosquito net, and that alone terrifies me, Ryan.
Well, I would feel better sleeping with one than without one. So that's a plus.
That is so awesome. Okay, I want to ask you about this too. You quoted Phil Vischer, co-creator of the Veggie Tales, one of my favorite things in the whole world. Phil said, "Our impact doesn't occur when we pursue impact. Our impact occurs when we pursue God." So tell me about that. Why do those words resonate with you? Because they certainly resonate with me.
Yeah, because part of how I'm wired, when you get into adrenaline sports, you have to keep going bigger and bigger to get the same chemical reaction, right? Like the fifth time you ride the roller coaster, it's not as scary as the first. And so for me, it's like that in relationships and business, whatever. I kept trying to find the next higher mountain and trying to get connected to people by impressing them, like trying to impress people into loving me. And that applied to how I related to God. And what I had to do is go, no, I just need to fall into his love and run at him the best way I know how. And it just so happens when I do that and I look around, there's people running right next to me or right behind me. And so that became a way that I lived, that rather than try to get people to fall in line with the Jesus the way I do, to just run after him and then look around and see who's running with me.
Oh, man, that is so good. I dearly love this conversation. I mean, seriously, I hope that you will come on and be a regular. I want to read your next book so that I can have you back on.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I love talking about what God's doing in my adventures. One of the things I do before every vacation or every one of these adrenaline rushes is I ask God to reveal what part of his heart I'm meant to find in them, because I know that I'm wired differently than other people, but that means that he can show me things that he may not be showing other people at that time. And so if you go expectantly into anything that makes you nervous, you're going to find a part of him that's going to make you fall more in love with him.
Oh, Ryan, what's on your adventure list for 2025? What are you going to do? Or is there anything left?
Oh, well, I just got back from one. Last week I did ice racing school where we learned how to drive race cars on frozen lakes up in northern Wisconsin. It was taught by a world rally champion from Sweden. That was really awesome. I'm also saving up right now to do a helicopter jump into the Swiss Alps. I've never jumped out of a helicopter, so that will be new for me.
Oh my, Tom Cruise has nothing on you.
Oh,
Seriously.
no, because Tom Cruise can fly the helicopter. He's got one on me there. But yes, that's the life to which I aspire for sure.
Ryan George, you are amazing. I encourage you, get scared to life, literally and figuratively. Buy the book. It's incredible. Thank you for being with us and come back soon, okay?
All right, will do. Thank you.